Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Tony's Tech Tuesday. In today's episode, we're gonna be talking about how to pack your ZiZZO into a suitcase. Before I begin, I just wanna mention that there are many different ways to pack your bike into a suitcase. It all barrels down to what you feel most comfortable. That is the right way to pack a bike into a suitcase. You don't wanna, if you're worried about your bike getting scratched, any little ding, you might wanna take a few extra steps to make sure the bike is padded, a little more disassembled. And if you're conversely, you really don't care, if your bike ends up with a couple of scratches, it's not a big deal to you, you can take less precautions. But ultimately, the right way to pack a bike into a suitcase is the way that you feel most comfortable. Before we begin, a little bit about the suitcase. This is a standard large checked bag, which means it's 62 linear inches. It's 30 inches by 20 inches by about 11.7, almost 12 inches. And 62 linear inches seems to be the standard that most airlines follow, but you absolutely want to make sure that you double check with the carrier that you're using to make sure that your bike or the suitcase that you're using meets their requirement for a standard check bag. The first thing you'll notice is I've already done some things to take apart the bike. The things that I've done, I removed the front wheel, I removed the rear wheel, I removed both left and right pedals, and I removed the derailleur. Now, when I say I removed the derailleur, the only thing I did was I disconnected the derailleur itself using a 5mm Allen from the frame. So the cables are still attached. There's no adjustment that's going to be needed. You simply rethread that derailleur using the 5mm Allen back onto the frame, and you should be good to go. So I'm gonna start by packing in the frame. Our guidance for folding a frame is to fully extend the stem, but you'll notice on this one, I have it folded about halfway. So I'm gonna open it up here. And you'll see how I have the stem extended just a little bit. So it's not fully compressed, but extended just a little bit so that it rests in between the I guess you could say the dropout and the brake arm. And then I'm just gonna grab a rag and put it in between the fork and the handlebar, just like that. So when it does touch, it's touching against the rag. And then I'm gonna fold it back up again. And then here you'll see I have the derailleur already disassembled. The chain is still on there, the cable is still on there. I just have the derailleur removed from the frame, and I'm just gonna wrap that up too. You can use a rubber band, a piece of string, something to tie off the things that you're wrapping. And then the first thing I'm gonna put into the suitcase is just gonna be the seat post and saddle, and I'm gonna put it in just like that. Next, with the drivetrain facing down, and this little space here is gonna be where the saddle is gonna rest. So, I'm gonna take this frame and I'm gonna put it in, drivetrain down. You'll have to clear things like the crank arm, the top of the stem, maybe you'll have to clear the kickstand, the handlebar, depending on the configuration of the bag, if your bag has a lip or an edge or something like that. Just make sure that the frame is as low as it'll go into the suitcase. All right, next, the pedals I already removed. I'm just gonna take those, wrap them up in a rag or towel, and place that in an open spot of the suitcase. Next, this is where I'm going to place the rear wheel. And I'm gonna place the rear wheel with the drive side down, the chainring down, or the cassette down. Lay down a couple more rags, just like that. And then thread the spokes through the axle, just like that, okay? Now you see that the wheel is sticking up a little bit above the line, but this Suitcase does have a little bit of give. And we're just gonna zip it back up. All right. And that's it. We've got our bike in a Suitcase. Now, I know some of you guys are gonna say, oh, I would have done this differently, or I would have done that differently. And that's okay. Again, the ideal way to pack your bike is the way that you feel most comfortable. So if you feel like I should have put more padding, then go ahead and put more padding. If you feel like I put too much padding, you don't have to use as much. It just depends on what you feel most comfortable. And that's it.